Hey, Don, so far I listened to your album, and I heard you could post up and smoke a black too.
Welcome to the NBA Clinic. Here, hosts Jonathan Purian and Sterling Mitchell take a deep dive and diagnose the current status on individual NBA teams. Caution, takes from here on will be hot, focused on championships and based on a gym rat mentality. If you are not about that shit, go turn on ESPN.
We don't need you on this one. Hey, check it. Hey, y'all out of town niggas just don't understand. We ain't got the same mindset.
Yo, welcome back. We're back out here.
Yeah, we got a lot of grinding to do.
Whatever, fuck it, we got this.
Yeah, we got this. Back at you live.
We perform best under pressure.
Exactly. It's been a while, we've been slacking, we know it, but we create this content for y'all.
And with that being said, today we're going to talk about the Denver Nuggets. What year do you want to take this back to for our past section, Sterling?
You see, the Nuggets been pretty bad for a while.
You're not wrong.
Is it even worth it taking it back?
I don't think so. You know what? I know that's a first, but that's kind of on the Nuggets. Get your shit together.
Because, I mean, the only team that I remember where I was really, thinking about the Nuggets was back in the J.R. Smith days.
Yeah, back when it was, him and Melo and AI. Those were definitely the days.
The Nuggets did get to see Melo's best days.
People will never understand the greatness of Carmelo Anthony until they understand that this man took a team to the Western Conference Finals while his whole team was stoned off their asses.
Yeah, I bet middle schoolers probably think that Carmelo is just some scrub, who just been slacking. I feel like only people in college really know how good Melo really is.
Oh, definitely. And you know what? To those middle schoolers who don't see it, as a Knicks fan, I don't fucking blame you. But listen, there was a time. You fucking kids, there was a time. Carmelo Anthony was the shit. There were comparisons to who's better, him or LeBron. Is he going to go down as the greatest scorer of all time? Those were questions being had. Mid-2000s. Y'all don't remember shit about that. Waking up every day, listening to Exhibit, MTV actually played music videos. Y'all don't remember shit about that.
Times were so much better.
There were people walking around with Sean John jeans. Y'all don't even remember what FUBU is.
Hey, FUBU's still popping somewhere. Yeah, well, let's just dive in.
Yeah, so we're just going to take it straight from this season with the signing of Paul Millsap coming in with the 3-year contract for $90 million.
I'm just going to go out and say, shouts out to Paul Millsap's agent, but the Nuggets management, what the hell were y'all thinking?
This was ridiculous. I mean, listen, we all respect Paul Millsap. We respect the game that he brings. We understand the career, the work this man has done. But from a GM's perspective, how are you going to give a physical basketball player at the age of 33 $90 million? There's no way you can deny that Paul Millsap's game is predicated on his athleticism. And he is aging at the age of 33. That means when he is 36, you will have to pay this man $30 million. Name me basketball players at the age of 36 that are worth $30 million.
Yeah, I feel like there will only be one, and that's only because he hasn't reached that age, and that's a person that's considered to be in the GOAT conversation, and LeBron James. You should not be considering paying anybody at the age of 36 $30 million. Well, I mean, let's just go into his stats this year. He's averaging 28.4 minutes per game. First off, he's only played in 26 games this season. His field goal percentage is only at 44%. 3-point percentage only at 35%. Free throw percentage at 71%. Averaging 6.2 rebounds per game. 2.8 assists per game, 1.2 blocks per game, 1 steal per game, and 13.9 points per game. That's definitely not worth $30 million in my opinion.
Definitely. And some people would be like, oh, the sample size is small. If you logically think about what he does and where he was on the court and the way Mike Malone likes to play basketball, it makes sense for Mike Malone's coaching, but it doesn't make sense for what this team is at all, which is going to get into a larger picture that we'll talk about throughout this whole podcast, which is that there is a weird conflict happening with the Nuggets right now that doesn't make sense, where you have a team that was essentially built to play fast and score a lot of points. And then you have Paul Millsap and Mike Malone as the coach that are trying to slow things down. Figure that shit out. Do y'all want to play slow? Do y'all want to play fast? Because the reason why y'all are losing games is because y'all don't know what to do for certain stretches against certain other teams.
I mean, I see what they were trying to do and bringing in a veteran because you want a veteran dude who's been in the league, who knows how to play basketball, who's been playing at a high level. Like, even though we are saying that this man does not deserve this $30 million, he has been playing at a very high level throughout his career.
Oh, for sure.
But
can't deny that. The man is talented.
But for what you want to do, especially for a team that's been in the rebuilding process, to go out and spend all this money, and then at the same time, you're trying to change the dynamic of the team, like you said. You want a fast-paced offense. You're trying to score a bunch of points. And Paul Millsap is a back-down dude who usually is going to be more athletic. He made a career off of being more athletic than the fours that he was going up against, so he's able to score with them. But now his age is catching up with him. Only playing 26 games this year. He's clearly been injured and out. You're just not going to get the production that you need from him.
What do you feel like Paul Millsap's value should have been?
Well, you always like to see veteran players like who've had great careers like get paid at the end. This is definitely that, oh yeah, I know I'm on my last leg. I'm just trying to go get that money. Like, Paul Millsap had to know I have no chance of winning a championship with this team. But hey, let me go get paid. But as if I was a Nuggets GM, I would at least try to work him down to like $24 million.
How many years would you have given him? If you're giving him $24 million a year on average.
This is mostly out of respect for what he's done. I could give him a 3-year, $75 million deal. I definitely say he's worth that just to show your respect to him and what he's done for the league. And you know he's going to be like a good influence on the younger players because Paul Millsap's never gotten in trouble for anything. He's always like been a hard worker and been about the team. So like he's definitely a good presence to have in the locker room, I'd say.
Yeah, he is a consummate professional for sure. All right, so now moving off of Paul Millsap, got to move on to, would we say he's the best Plumlee?
Definitely.
Mr. Mason Plumlee.
Yeah, if you guys heard any of our other podcasts, you would know that I'm a very big Duke supporter. So I've seen this man play.
Man, we need to get you like some type of like sound bit or something that's just like incoming like Sterling Duke bias. Because I swear, there's at least a Duke reference every goddamn episode.
Boner alert.
Don't worry, girls. There's plenty of Duke to go around.
I mean, yeah, and it's probably just gonna get worse, especially if we get this ship this year. You know, it's looking pretty good.
I don't even. God, it's not even because you guys are that much better than everybody else. It's just because everybody fucking choked this year.
Oh no! It's because they got an NBA lineup on the floor.
That's fair, but also fuck Grayson Allen. All right, Mason Plumlee.
So how you feel about his contract right now?
So I think Mason. You know what? I see both sides to this. I see both sides to Mason's contract. Like, you're getting Mason at his prime years, and frankly, he is a NBA starting basketball player. I think the numbers don't show all the things he does for this Nuggets team. And if you think about the way Mason plays, like going from college into the league, he should not be able to fit as well into this team as he does. But, you know, Mason Plumlee like actually does all of the good stuff you would want a roller to do. He's hard working on rebound. He's still pretty freaking good at defense. I have to give him that. It's pretty weird because on this team, I don't think he deserves the contract that he got. But in terms of just being a basketball player in the league, I'm okay with his contract.
The way I see it is I feel like he got the standard 7-footer contract. Teams need big bodies. Like, I mean, let's be frank, there's not too many 7-footers just in the world. So when you can find a solid 7-footer, like, you trying to keep him, and like, he's not no unbelievable talent, but he's going to go out there, he's going to rebound, he's going to play defense, he's going to get you a few putbacks. So, I mean, I respect this contract.
Yeah, I do too. And I didn't think I would, but I do.
They gave Mason the right amount of money to where one day they might be able to go get that like superstar that they need to like reach the next level. Or like if one of their younger players develops into that superstar, they clearly have enough cap space to give him the money he'll deserve.
Now that we're done talking about Mason Plumlee, gotta move on to our next person. If you're a fan of the NBA in general, you should definitely know this man, Kenneth Faried, the Manimal.
I'm a big fan of the Manimal. I remember his prime years back when he was younger with the Nuggets.
He was an athletic freak. Like, he was amazing. He was so athletic. I was just shocked. just blown away at what this guy could do on the court. And he still kind of has it. He's not getting the same amount of minutes that I'd like to see, but I just think that the Nuggets are kind of over having Kenneth Faried on this team.
Yeah, I mean, he's still relatively young at 28 as far as, like, he's been in the league. And one of the things that I've always liked about him is he's a hard worker. Like, he's going to give it his all every time he steps on the court. And that's always nice to have on a team.
Oh, for sure. Even outside of this year, this man can be a double-double machine. Like, he will always get you a good 10-10.
Yeah. It looks like this year he's been a little hurt too, only playing 32 games. You gotta respect what he's done for this organization. He's always shown up and played the best he could. I think everybody knows, like, he was never going to just be a superstar or anything like that, or he's always going to give you solid minutes, either if it's starting or coming off the bench, and you can always rely on that man.
Yeah, this guy, I would love to see Kenneth Faried on a championship team because he's a championship player. Like, he's a championship role player in my mind. I got a lot of respect for this man's game. I just think where the Nuggets are right now and the way Mike Malone was trying to use him and then just eventually gave up on using him, just ended up getting his minutes restricted and stuff like that. But I still think there's a lot left in the tank for this guy, and I'm kind of excited to see where he lands in the future. But currently the way that his contract is set up is that he's getting paid $13 million this year and then $13.5 next year. So then by that time, he's going to be 30. So then after that, I guess it's like more difficult to kind of like rejuvenate your career. But I don't know. I'd still love to see him do it because I think, you know, he's a good basketball player for sure. The one thing I will say that probably hurts him in today's league, though, is his three-point shooting percentage, which has been a career 10%.
Well, thankfully this year he hasn't even shot any threes. And another thing I would say is he's really the first person I saw in the NBA, like, just rocking long ass dreads. That was one thing that I used to remember when I was little. I was like, wait, there's like nobody in the NBA that really just has dreads.
Yeah, it was like him and Nene, and that was it.
Like, they brought the dreads into the NBA, and now, like, there's a bunch of people rocking them.
Yeah, for sure. Trendsetters. But yeah, now that we're done talking about Kenneth Faried, we got to talk about, you know, this one hurts. Like Sterling was saying about his Duke bias, I most definitely am Knick biased. Former New York Knick on arguably the greatest New York Knick team that I've ever seen in my fucking life. I've only lived, you know, a short 22 years on this damn planet. But from what I remember, the 09 fucking 4 seed New York Knicks were just beautiful. 2009, 2010. It might have been 2010, 2011. Don't quote me on this shit. It was that team where Amari Stoudemire fucking carried them right before Carmelo got there. Literally, it was the year and then the Carmelo trade. Like, that team right before Amari Stoudemire, Wilson Chandler, Danilo Gallinari, just a bunch of fucking hard-working, scrappy-ass pieces running super fast in Mike D'Antoni's system, and just, it was amazing. We were the 4th seed on the first year the Miami Heat ever played basketball. We were the 4th seed. I was excited to see that matchup. We fucking got robbed because we just gave our whole goddamn team, all of our young talent, all of it at the time, every single goddamn piece. Are you 25 and younger and have the potential to be a star? Get the fuck out of here. We're trading you for Carmelo. And Wilson Chandler, my guy, had to waste the rest of his fucking career in the Denver Nuggets when he should have retired a goddamn Knick because we fucked him in a trade. And it's just tragic, and I love this man because he's all hustle. He's just a great damn role player. He puts up numbers. He puts up numbers. He comes in. He has great minutes for a team, and he just does everything that you want a guy his position doing.
Yeah, I've always respected this man's game. Like you said, he's a hard worker. He plays defense. That's another thing that I really like about him. And he's just gonna go out there and just get it
every single time. He's just gonna go out there and get it. You just said it perfectly. I can't put that into better words. He's the dude you want to be on your team every single fucking time. Fucking love Wilson Chandler.
He's also like, he got some nice tats.
You know what? He does. He also has the same name as my older brother, which I thought was a pretty fucking funny name. Like, who names their son Wilson? Like, come on.
He definitely got a few jokes when he was younger.
Yeah, come on, Wilson. Get it together. Well, even when I was a fucking kid, I was like 3, and like by the time I could talk, I immediately started roasting my parents on giving Wilson such a lame fucking name. I was like, yo, like even when Wilson was in the room, I was like, yo, this shit is trash. Why? Like his name is Wilson. Yo, your name is garbage. And I just get the living shit beaten out of me by my brother, but it was worth it. I did it every time.
It's really just a funny name to just say Wilson.
It's like so proper. It's like an 1800s like whaleman name, like a dude who just hunts whales. It just like writes like Moby Dick fanfare.
It's just like it's like a dude that should be on that crab show, like some dude that lives in Maine.
But to get back to Wilson Chandler himself, right now this season he's averaging about 10 points, shooting actually a very respectable 34.6% from the 3-point range. Holla at him for doing that. Because he always had a kind of nice jumper, but they were long twos. And now he's extended it out. So to do that into this phase of your career, shouts out to him.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he's just an all-around solid basketball player.
And you got to understand, he's wasted some fucking years on this Nuggets team. That's the point I want to stress the most. It's like the reason why I went on this previous Knicks rant was just to really state the fact that he wasted a lot of good years of his career on a pretty bad team. And it just, just being a fan of the man's game, it kind of makes me sit back and wonder, like, what could have been.
Yeah, the Knicks really did screw him. I don't know what the Nuggets were thinking.
I think they just wanted names. I mean, like, listen, like, they pretty much took the Knicks team, and they were like a 4th seed at the time. So they were like, if we take most of their players, then we'll be a 4th seed. But that's not how basketball trades work. Actually, a more modern example of this is the Boston Celtics trade, where the Cavs were like, oh yeah, we'll get Jay Crowder and Isaiah Thomas, and then we'll pretty much just have all of the Celtics. Like, we'll be just as good during the regular season. Nope. It's not how that works. Teams are teams for a reason. You can't just take certain players off of a team and then expect to get the same results.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how hard it is to like get that team chemistry that you need to like be a championship caliber team. But yeah, moving on.
Moving on from one weird name to the other, we got Darrell Arthur coming in at the age of 29.
I've never really known what to think about this dude.
Probably because his name is
rocks 00.
Yeah, what? Okay, let's take a moment to just talk about the things that aren't basketball related here that actually secretly matter a lot. First of all, this man's name is Darrell Arthur. Like, what is that? Who let that shit happen?
It's like the whitest black name I ever heard. Like, Daryl is clearly black, but then Arthur, like, it just changes the whole mood. Like, it's like, oh, this is a respectable dude. Like, he probably owns his own law firm, something like that, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Like, he has his own private library in his house just because he likes reading books on a Sunday. Like, get the fuck out of here. Secondly, outside of the name, he's got 2 zeros on his jersey. Sterling, you mentioned this from before. It's fucking ridiculous.
See, I feel like if you're going to rock 00, you got to be a baller.
Yeah, it's too loud of a jersey for you not to ball out.
Like, it just draws attention to you.
Yeah, it's a loud number. It definitely, I think that's a thing. I think that's a thing that people don't talk about enough, is that there's certain numbers that are loud. Like, if you wear 23 on your team, you got to be the alpha because you're wearing Jordan's number. You put a 00 on, like, hold on. That's a very loud thing. They look like 2 eyeballs if you kind of squint. Like, you're drawing attention to yourself. So if you don't ball the fuck out, you're going to look like a weirdo. You're going to be that weird guy who got 2 zeros on his jersey.
Exactly.
And with that being said, Darrell Arthur, kind of not really balling out.
Not at all, unfortunately. I would like to see this man ball out. He's always, to me, when I've seen him, just look like a below average NBA player who you just put out there like when you need like some minutes from a big guy.
This is really like the scrub guy. Like, this is the guy getting you garbage minutes on this team. Like, even when he was on Memphis, just kind of moved on and paid attention to other players on the court. Like, I've never seen a series of Darrell Arthur plays that have truly like wowed me.
Like, that's the thing with this man. Like, he's never really impressed me.
Yeah.
Like, I've never even like just seen him just have a stretch of like, oh, I see why like this man's an NBA player.
In his defense, 2011, 2012, he did not play because he suffered an Achilles injury. So maybe that might have curbed his overall ability to get buckets later on down the road, because an Achilles injury is a career ender.
That is true. He was having his best year that 2010-2011 season.
Yeah, poor guy. He might have just been robbed. Which, speaking of which, prayers go out to Boogie. I love you and I miss you, bro.
That hits home. That hurts.
It hurts us all. It hurts us all. We gonna save this emotion for the Pelicans podcast, though.
How you feel about this money that he's receiving?
I mean, he's getting paid, so that's already right there. That's more than I thought. $7.5 million this year with the player option. Ooh, with the player option to re-up again for another $7.5 million next year. Yeah, he better take that for sure. If I know we love to talk about overvalued players when we get to, the max agents and all of this stuff. We're like, wow, this guy got paid $16 million, $20 million. I never thought we'd be saying this about $7.5 million, but there are a lot of NBA players that could do some stuff on a team that you could get for $7.5 million. Like, how much is Lou Will getting paid? Six man like Lou Will is out here getting paid $7 million. Darrell Arthur is getting paid more than him.
That's actually surprising. I know the man's in the NBA, but Darrell Arthur, man, you my 4, and you only getting me a career average of 3.5 rebounds per game.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I at least need 5 rebounds.
And it's not like he's made up for his lack of rebounding in any other category. Points, career average of 6.5.
Yeah, I'm a little baffled at this, to be honest. Like, the man's in the NBA. I mean, I respect that. Like, he put in the work to get there. But at this point, as a Denver Nuggets organization, like, what are you thinking?
I could not tell you, boss. I could not tell you.
Especially with all the players that you probably had a chance to get. Because they clearly have enough room where they could have easily went out and got a more solid power forward than Darrell Arthur.
Damn. And with that being said, we're going to move on from the fun. I'm kidding. We still got one more fucking funny name left. Let's go. My guy used to be on the Portland Blazers. Now he's out here on the Nuggets. I fuck with this player heavy, Will Barton.
He does have a great name. I'm actually a pretty big fan of Will Barton's game, trying to get buckets.
Just doing whatever he can to help his team get the dub, bro. He was nice on the Blazers, and to be frank, he could be nice on a lot of teams, but the Nuggets aren't using him properly.
I feel like the Nuggets getting a steal, but for only getting paid $3.5 million, the man's averaging about 15 points per game. He's getting you 5 rebounds per game.
Yeah. That's the thing. When I say this stuff about the Nuggets, I think I'm trying to encapsulate a larger theme. Have a bunch of really good pieces and they just hold on to them too long and just waste away their careers. And then it's just like, all right, go be free to be like a role player on some other team. Like Will Barton should be out here competing for championships. Ken Freed should be out here competing for championships. Wilson Chandler should be out here competing for championships. But the Nuggets can never get it together.
I will say that the Nuggets aren't doing too bad, to be honest. Although they are last in their division, they are only 6 games back.
Here's the question I want to ask you. I have a certain opinion about this, so maybe this is why I feel the way I feel. Do you feel like your overall franchise, if we were to talk into spans of decades, should go through highs and lows? Or do you feel like they should always be even keel, like consistently being an 8th seed but never winning a championship?
I feel like you gotta go highs and lows.
That's what I feel too.
I feel like they had their highs and lows, especially when they were able to get, when they had the prime Carmelo Anthony. Just going back to what we were saying at the beginning, like, I don't think people realize how good that Nuggets team was and the greatness we were seeing from Carmelo. And I definitely say that was the last time they were high, but then they hit a super low. And I don't know if they're going to be able to get out this for about maybe like 5 more years.
Exactly, but they've been like this for so long, they definitely could have just hit a low and would have been able to rebuild themselves. Like they should be a consistent playoff team by now, and it just hasn't happened. But it's just because they keep getting good pieces, but they just hold on to them for too long, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I also feel like because we gotta attribute some of this to like the Western Conference. Just like the Nuggets kind of just got left behind, and all these teams in the Western Conference just came up. They just like came up all at the same time and just created this dominance that we are now seeing in the Western Conference. And the Nuggets just didn't have any like pivotal players that could like bring the Nuggets up at the same time as everybody else in the West was able to like just reach their prime.
Yeah, that is a pretty good point too. I never thought of it like that. They're just always in the middle. They were like always in the middle of the pack. Like even the Carmelo era, that was their highest point, and that was like a Western Conference final.
Yeah.
They're just like consistently stuck in the middle.
I will say, given Colorado and the come up that it's on, Denver might become a lot more attractive place that in a few years they might be able to land that superstar.
Definitely. Denver is one of those cities on the come up. So, like, I don't know. Yeah, if I'm a basketball player, living in Denver would be pretty nice.
But yeah, unfortunately, our man Will Barton has to continue to be on this team and waste away some of his greatest years.
So right now, Will Barton is 27 years old. Luckily, he's only got 1 year left on his contract, which is expiring this year, for $3.5 million. What do you think his value is going to be for next contract? What would you like to pay him? And do you feel like he should stay on this team?
I feel like he should go somewhere where he has a chance to compete because he's definitely could be a great role player on a championship contending team, especially because he's just one of those players who is always going to give it his all. Like, I feel like that's a consistent theme with most of these players on the team. Like, they're hard workers and they like play the game of basketball like pretty solidly. It's just they're not as skilled as most of these other teams.
So now that we got Will Barton out of the way, I want to mention really quickly Devin Harris, just to pay respect to the veteran himself. When he was out there, he wasn't out there that much, but when he was out there, he was out there being a role player. You feel me? Respect this man's career. I've seen a lot of his games. 35 years old, coming in 1 year, expiring this year with $4.5 million.
He was always going to be like that person off the bench for an NBA team, but like I do respect his career overall.
Yeah.
But getting away from that, the Nuggets, I would say they have a bright future in some of these young players if they're able to keep them.
Yep, I'm glad we're transitioning there. Let's just jump right into this young core. Where do you want to start? We could either talk about Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Nikola Jokic, Trey Lyles.
Given my bias, we got the two Indiana boys in Gary Harris and Trey Lyles, who I personally seen play high school basketball and seen them dominate. And I think Gary Harris could be a star in this league, averaging 17 points per game.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think Gary Harris could be a star. I could see Jamal Murray low-key being a star too.
Oh, yeah. Jamal Murray slept on. If you don't watch the NBA, I don't think you know how good this man is. Especially like his first year, he balled out.
Yep. He definitely did. He showed out. And I mean, he'd always been producing, even when he was in high school, college. Like, that's the thing about both of these players. Like, both Gary Harris and Jamal Murray. Is like, they consistently have been just getting you results their whole lives. Because we were talking about this off air. The struggles and the grind of the AAU player is ridiculous. And so for them to just be constantly playing basketball like that much and still be out here producing results is super impressive. Like, they've shown you literally throughout their whole lives they're good at playing basketball on every level. On every level.
And thankfully for the Nuggets, he's still on his rookie contract. So they got all these young pieces that are only getting paid around $2 to $3 million.
So right now, Jamal Murray is getting paid $3.3 million this year. He's getting paid $3.5 million the next year. And then the team has an option of only paying him $4.5 million the year after that in 2019-2020, which they're obviously going to do because that's a steal for that value. And then Gary Harris this year is getting paid only $2.5 million, but he's already negotiated or re-upped on his contract. So from there, his next contract will roll over, starting with him getting paid $60.5 million that year, $17 million the year after, $19 million after that, and then in 21-22, he's getting paid $20 million, which I even would still say that the Nuggets got a steal for.
Definitely. That's what I was going to say. Like, the Nuggets definitely did their research on this man. Like, I remember that draft personally because I felt that the man should have been a lottery pick.
Oh, yeah.
But unfortunately, he slipped all the way to the 19th pick, and the Nuggets made the trade for him from Chicago. And now, like, they got a very good player.
Might have been the steal of the draft that year.
Yeah, I don't know if people realize like how like athletic this man is. Because I remember IU offered this man to play football and basketball for them. Like, that's how good of an athlete this man is.
Damn, that's saying
they
something.
were going to let him play 2 D1 sports.
Dang.
Yeah, but I definitely am really big up on Gary Harris. I think he has a bright future. And like you said, the Nuggets really got to still, like, only getting up to $20 million with the potential that he has. Like, I easily see him being an all-star in the future.
Definitely. So to read off some of the stats that he's produced this year, Gary Harris is averaging 17.7 points currently over the 65 games that he's played, 48.6% for field goal percentage, 40% from 3-point range. Those are really impressive. It's just like ridiculous. Just seeing the way he gets his shot off, the way he is able to play it with such ferocity, and like he's for sure a create your own shot type of player. And he's got skills at a very young age that you can see, given a couple of more years, are going to develop and turn him into a star.
Another thing I'd like to know about this man is I don't think people realize like how great it is to see someone getting better year after year. Like if you look at his stats, like his points when he came into the league, yeah, he's a rookie. He only averaged 3.4 points a game. You like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have picked him. But then the next year, he comes back 12.3 points per game. Next year, 14.9. And then this year, 17.7. You clearly see this man is developing year after year, getting better. And that's what you really want to see, especially like your 19th pick in the first round. Like,
then also, in fairness, I'll read off of some of Jamal Murray's stats so you guys can get an understanding of who he is for people who don't watch the Nuggets as much. He's averaging right now for this season in the 69 games that he's played, 16.4 points per game, 46% for the field, and then 38% from 3-point range. And he's only 21 years old. He's only 21 years old.
I wasn't too sure about Jamal Murray coming out of the draft. He was picked pretty high. He was a first rounder, 7th pick by Denver. He did have a pretty good year at Kentucky for the 1 year he was there, but I definitely say this pick was mostly off potential, and I would say it's a great pick.
Especially because of that like Kentucky class that year. You couldn't tell with some of the players if they were going to work out or not, just because the whole team was just so fucking good.
Yeah, and only being 21, you know this man is not in his best years of basketball yet, and he's getting you 16.4 points already.
Yeah, that's a baller.
You keep these young pieces that you got, and Gary Harris and Jamal Murray and Trey Lyles and Jokic. In a few years, we might be saying a whole different story about this team.
I will agree to most of that except Jokic, but not for the reasons you think. Like, we'll get into that later. But for now, let's definitely talk about Trey Lyles. Coming in at the age of 22, he's making $2.5 million this year and then $3.3 million the year after.
I'm a big fan of Trey Lyles, not just because he's from Indiana and I got to see this man play and see how dominant he was, but he just gets better every year. And he played on a very talented Kentucky team, so he knows how to play with talent. And I think I can only see his career going up from here. Like you say, he's only 22 years old. He's 6'10", 234 pounds. He got an NBA-sized body. I would like to see him get a little bigger. At 6'10", only being 234. Maybe get that up to like 260. But I can only see good things from this man.
And one thing I want to know on top of that, he's a really, really efficient scorer. The fact that he's almost shooting 40% from the 3-point range as well, and he's got a very respectable almost 70% from the free throw line, and is also averaging almost 50% from the field in general. It's amazing. I think this guy's very, very efficient for the minutes that you give him. He goes in there, he does his thing. Like, this guy is an NBA starter. It's just a constant theme that I'm noticing now. Is like, damn, these are all great like NBA starting players. It's just something is not like clicking. I mean, we'll talk about this in the future section, but I think this team, if you could just build around that core right, they could be very good very quickly.
I definitely see this team having a bright future as long as they're able to keep the young pieces and add to it, because they're missing probably like 2 pieces.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're going to get that through the draft or you're going to get that through maybe a very good veteran signing. Like, I feel like that's what they tried to do with Paul Millsap. It's just it wasn't time for that yet. I feel like they pulled that trigger way too quick.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely did. So now that we're done talking about these players, we're going to just wrap it up with this last player. I've raved about him on previous podcasts, and I love his game. I love his game so much. Mr. Nikola Jokic. He's coming in at the age of 23 right now. He's getting paid $1.5 million with a team option for next year to get paid $1.6 million.
Yeah, I don't know if people know how good this man is because he's on the Denver Nuggets, but just the last few games, this man was getting triple doubles, and he's your center.
This man could be the star of his own team.
Great, exactly. And for a center to get triple doubles, especially in today's league, that's unheard of.
Absolutely. This man's passing ability for a big is something I've never seen before. and he can score at will. Like, I've seen this guy get really, really hot. He deserves to be in the conversation with other transcendent young bigs such as Kristaps Porzingis, Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid. He's the worst of all four of those, but he still deserves to be in the room. He could be the star of his own team if you put him around the right system. To read off some of his stats for those who don't watch his game, he's averaging 17.2 points right now, 10 rebounds, over 63 games, with a 50% field goal percentage, 38% for three-point range, 85% for the free throw, and his PER is 24, for all you guys who pay attention to that. I believe this man should be a star on his own team. I really can't stress that enough. I've said it on previous podcasts. I don't know. With that being said, I'd like to transition into the thing that we end our podcast on every single time, which is, if we could run the Nuggets for the next 3 years, what we would do. I'm coming off with a very, very controversial thing to say, but hear me out. We got to package Nikola Jokic with another contract we got to get rid of, because it'll just make both the teams better. It's like a win-win situation. Because Jokic right now, with Mike Malone as the coach, they're not working together. Like, it's just not working. Like, Mike Malone is holding Jokic back. And I see it. Like, I feel like Gary Harris, Trey Lyles, Jamal Murray, they all fit. Like, when they all play together, they have, like, real chemistry and cohesion. But Jokic is just a great basketball player, but he just doesn't fit with, like, what Malone's trying to do and what that young core is about. And so, because you have, like, a extremely valuable piece, I would definitely see if you could try to package Jokic with Paul Millsap's contract. And the reason why I would say that is because he's still got a year left, so he's going to be expiring. Like, that Jokic contract is going to be expiring. Then, Paul Millsap is still $30 million for the next 3 years. You got to get rid of that shit if you want to get some free agency or just any money left to re-sign the rest of the young talent that's going to be coming off of the books soon. I would definitely.
So who are you trying to get?
With Paul Millsap and Jokic, you could do a decent amount of damage on that. I would say for some of these tanking teams, I would be looking into that deal. Like, I don't know, Chicago might be cold. Yo, if you could have Lauri Markkanen and Nikola Jokic on the same team, that's dirty. That shit would be dirty, bro.
So that's the poor man's AD and Boogie.
Yeah, it is. It's the European AD and Boogie, you feel me? That's crazy. And it's the Midwest, you know what I'm saying? So many white people, they're going to sell out jerseys like fucking hotcakes. So the Bulls right there, that's a win. The only con is that you have to absorb Paul Millsap's contract, which, by the way, you weren't going to be fucking doing anything for the next couple of years anyways. Take the goddamn contract. That is a wily veteran that's going to help that team grow, and Paul Millsap is going to do great in Chicago. That's a total win for the Bulls. The worst case scenario is you absorb Paul Millsap's $30 million contract for 2 years. Sorry, you're not winning a fucking championship in 2 years. You're not going to be a consistent playoff team in 2 years. It's just not going to fucking happen.
And who are you trying to get in return?
You know what? Fuck it. The main reason why I'm doing this is for cap space, and it's for good reason. So what I'll probably do is just like give me like Bobby Portis and like 2 fucking first round draft picks.
I like that.
Give me, like, I know that sounds risky because it's like, oh my god, first round draft picks. But listen, man, the Bulls are probably going to be middle of the pack at best. You're probably going to get a lottery draft pick for 2 years straight. The Nuggets know how to draft. You're going to be able to assess the weaknesses of your young core being able to lead at this point, because now you got Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, and Trey Lyles being the 3 big guys on this team, which is what you want. And you know your other bigs are going to be getting older by that time. You know, Kenneth Faried, Wilson Chandler, they're still going to give you great years. It's not going to be the same. So the only thing you have to address is getting you a transcendently good big. So you either get it from free agency by getting that max agent, if you're able to attract one that can actually fulfill your needs now that you've seen the young core, or you go get it from the low lottery.
Yeah, I feel like a transcendent 4 on this team would fit very well, because then you could just put Mason in at the 5. And you know what he's going to give you. He's just going to give you boards, defense, and the occasional bucket. But with these young guards, and then like a transcendent 4 who can stretch the floor, shoot threes.
Which, by the way, Nikola Jokic, to be fair, that is exactly what Nikola Jokic is. But his game doesn't fit. I want to be very, very clear why Nikola Jokic doesn't work with this young core right now. I mean, they do work. Why it would be a better idea to break up Nikola Jokic from the rest of the young core. Like, he is the ultimate stretch forward that you would want for your team. Here's the thing, though. Doesn't play defense very well, and he's got like a sense of European flashiness to him. in that the way that he plays the game, the spacing is very different than what you would want for the other three players. The thing that you want to look for when you're trying to get this big is, honestly, Ayton from Arizona could be ill on this team. Like, that's some shit I'm trying to get.
I mean, if you're able to get that Bulls draft pick, it's looking like it's gonna be pretty high.
Yeah, dude. I would see if I could I wouldn't address that need from free agency, actually. I would actually try to go for the draft. And Nikola Jokic, if he played defense, he'd be a transcendent big, but he's like super close to that. But the games are very different. You want something like that, but Ayton from Arizona is a better fit, and you can get him. You could either get him or you could get fucking Bagley. Put them in on this. You're chilling.
And Aiden is coming in with an NBA body. Like, he's ready to play in the NBA now. You already know, like, you get Aiden, he doesn't need that much development before he's ready to compete with these NBA players.
Exactly. In an ideal world, that's what I'm doing. I'm trading Jokic and Paul Millsap together to the Bulls. I'm getting those draft picks. And then I still have max free agent money that I'm not even going to use. Like, save that for later on down the line. Like, I don't know what the fuck this team is going to be. Let's just sit back and watch. And then if people are playing good, then you pay them the money for a little bit. If not, go get Ayton. Go get Ayton and just see what happens. It's going to be a good time. No matter what, that's interesting basketball. You go get Ayton, you let this young core eat, you got a bunch of cap space chilling. I just cleared it for you so you guys can be financially responsible and then use that money properly later on down the road. Because sometimes, especially for these middle-of-the-pack teams, they try to do too much at once. Oh, we're in the middle, let's all go all the way into championship contention even though we know we can't win it, or let's ridiculously tank. Why not just be financially responsible for a little bit? Just chill with the assets you got, see what the fuck happens. That's what the Raptors did. That's why Masai Ujiri, the fucking GM for the Raptors, who used to be the former GM for the Nuggets back when they were balling, by the way. Shouts out to him, my guy Masai, you feel me? That's what Masai does all the time, and look at the Raptors now. Look at the Nuggets back then. That's why they fucking ball out. He knows when to make the right moves at the right opportunities. That's what you do. That's what you do. You go out there, you go trade that shit. You shake up the league with the crazy trade. You get a bunch of noise coming your way into the offseason. Wow, they made this crazy trade. This is what they got back. What's going to happen? Ayton's coming in. Hot new player. You got a bunch of good clout generating your way. Like, a lot of people are interested in watching the Nuggets play now. So you just let that happen. You just let that happen and you sit on your pile of cash.
Yeah, I'm really a big fan of what you just proposed. Like, especially with this team, you just want to make sure you just keep everybody on the right track. Like, you got young talent and you just want to keep making sure that they are on the right track as far as the development in the NBA goes. And they're getting better each year, which it seems like the Nuggets are doing a good job at making sure their young talent is getting better year after year. And then you just let your team become an attractive marketplace so then you can go out and attract that one superstar that you need to bring this team to the next level.
Sterling, you said it perfectly, because we were both just talking about this previously. 2-3 years from now, Denver's about to be popping. You let this beautiful core just marinate and grow together and become a great team, and then you just top it all off with motherfucking money, baby. Cash dollars. Make that shit rain.
Exactly. You couldn't have said it better.
And with that being said, we out this bitch.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, everybody who's listening.
Yeah, you know what, man? Shouts out to them. Sterling, thank you for doing that. Fans, people who watched this, people who were able to listen through all the hours of recording we do, we love you guys. You know what I'm saying? You guys have always been out there for us, just seeing us come out here, speak our passions, speak our truths. And so we just want to thank you. Man, if y'all ever leave comments or just want shout-outs, we got you. Make some comments, give us some feedback, and we'll repay you. It's all love.
Yeah, we got a Twitter page now where we come out. We're going to be notifying you when we come out with new episodes. Stay tuned. MF for the motherfuckers, you know.
Definitely follow the Twitter page, man. Once again, stay tuned, MF. Of course, you're going to notice it because it's got our infamous cover art on there from the original Stay Tuned podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. If you don't know, we have a whole YouTube channel where we keep all of this stuff. The infamous Stay Tuned podcast where we just break down the culture, being young, wild brothers. And we got some music. Yeah. And we got some music stuff on there too. So, check it out.
Yeah, and saying that, I think we're ready to sign off. Peace out.